Domino at Opua Anchorage.
Our route is the purple line from the Bay of Islands directly to Fiji. The red line is from the Bay of Islands to the Minerva Reef. So as long as we stay between the purple line and the red line, we should be okay. We've also marked all reefs along the route with waypoints, as you can see with the skeleton symbol. So on passage, we can be alerted to any obstacles that might be in our way. New Zealand to Fiji is about 1,150 miles, give or take 100, probably more than 100 miles, depending on if we deviate off our rum line. So 1,150 direct along the purple line, but if we anything between the purple and the red line, we could end up adding anything from 1 to 200 miles extra. We anticipate doing this in conservatively 7 to 8 days. But if we have favourable wind and sea conditions, we could end up in Fiji within 6 days. It's a miserable day in Opua, cloudy, windy as the front moves past, and as you can see there are loads of yachts fueling, topping up with water and making final preparations for a morning departure once this front passes through. And a final check of the instrumentation before departure. And it's goodbye New Zealand as the clouds clear, blue skies, and winds moderating from 20 knots down to about 15 to 18 knots. So it should make for a lovely first day of sailing. So we're sailing directly downwind on a heading for Minerva Reef. As we clear New Zealand, we will then turn slightly to port and head up for Fiji. As you can see, we are flying our spinnaker in about 18 knots of wind, 1,077 miles to go. We've been on the road for about 2.5 hours. Sunset day 1. Elaine enjoying a dinner of Roy's famous homemade chicken soup as we prepare the boat for the evening. With the winds between 15 and 20 knots, we've decided to fly the spinnaker for the night. If the wind starts exceeding 25 knots, then we will drop the sail and likely go under the white sails. We have covered 46 nautical miles from New Zealand, and we've been on the water for roughly 6.5 to 7 hours. So not too bad for our first day out at sea. To the clouds here, the wind is still up at about 20 knots, and the swell has dropped from about 3.5 to 4 meters down to about 3 meters. We're having a good sail, although it is still a little bumpy. swell coming on the boom, which makes it extremely uncomfortable. We're 153 miles from New Zealand and we're averaging about 8.3 knots with 15 to 20 knots of wind from the southeast. And we might have a little bit of company later on. I see there is a tanker approaching us from the starboard side. Second night, the wind has died down to about 10 knots, so we're just adding a little bit of diesel power to help us along the way. Sails up, one reef in the main, just in case the wind picks up during the night. It saves us in the dark with a bouncing rod in the flicking a reef inside. Right, day 2, dinner time. Dad's famous homemade chicken curry. As you can see, Mom is sitting on what is normally a dining room table, but it's turned into a bed for passages so that we don't have to sit, we can just slouch around there and nap. It's midnight, night 2, going into day 3. The sea is becoming extremely lumpy, and the reason for that is we're busy passing over the Devonport Seamount, which is a range of underwater mountains directly in our line between New Zealand and Fiji. The wind has dropped substantially, however we're still maintaining just over 6 knots average speed. Day break on day 3, the winds have started to pick up. We're getting anything from 7 to 8.5 knots. The sea is moderated slightly. We have about 15 knots of wind, in the mainsail, and once again we're trundling off lightly. Time for Elaine's famous homemade breakfast. Okay, breakfast of muesli, fruit juice, and some chopped up fresh fruit. There you go. You can see somebody's hungry already. And we're settling in for the day. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of sunlight.
It's our third day at sea, Wednesday the 3rd of May. We're just over 48 hours since we left the Bay of Islands. We are motoring since we've entered the light and variable portion of the journey, which we were expecting. Our barometer is holding steady at 1020 millibars, but we do have some light drizzle. We're hoping that the skies will clear soon. It's warmed up, we've got rid of our thermals, and we've enjoyed a shower without our teeth chattering. So all is well on board. Okay, Roy doing the engine check after 24 hours of motoring, and we've had to motor to keep our speed up.
Third night at sea, and the weather shows light winds for tonight and tomorrow, Thursday. So we have prepared the boat for the evening. We currently have 10 knots of wind, pretty light. We're motor sailing right now. Sunset day 3, and we have 2 isolated thunderstorm cells that we're busy tracking. If they come any closer, within maybe about 3 miles, then we'd have to either avoid them or make a sail change so as not to present any problems. We are now tracking 4 cells, 3 on our port side and 1 on the starboard side. 3 on the port side appear to be moving away from us. The one to keep an eye on is the one on the starboard side. It may develop and cross directly in front of us. We send a position report via email to Maritime New Zealand. Every hour we log our position in the ship's log, and every 3 to 4 hours we update our paper chart with our current position. Once a day we report our position on an HF radio network, and every 4 hours our yellow brick tracker automatically transmits a position report to our website. It's day 4, nice and sunny. The swell is roughly about 1.5 meters. We have been at sea for almost 72 hours, light winds, and we're making progress at about 8 knots. We have stepped up the pace somewhat as the forecast is showing an approaching storm off Vanuatu, so we need to make Fiji by Sunday, as that storm should pass south of Fiji either on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay, it's day 4 at sea, Thursday the 4th of May. We're just over 72 hours since we left the Bay of Islands, and we're soldering on, hoping to get to Fiji before we have any issue with the tropical storm that is brewing over Vanuatu. Let's hope we can keep our speed up and everything works out.
And we're settling down to dinner with Elaine's famous homemade pasta mince and sauce and some spaghetti. And as you can see, Elaine is always eating. 96 hours at sea, and it's lunchtime again, and whoa! Elaine's famous toasted cheese sandwiches.
Donna at midday New Zealand time was approximately 12.6 south, 166.4 east, with a low of 9.7 It's still moving westward, but it's going to intensify over the next 48 hours, and its track is going to change to take it between Vanuatu and southeast.
Day 5, and all hell is broken loose. Tropical cyclone Donna is over Vanuatu. So we've had to prepare the boat for the evening. We've stowed the mainsail, and we're flying on a jib only in 20 knots of wind, gusting up to 30. And we're continuing forward to our waypoint. Friends of ours, Tallulah Ruby, who are about 60 miles behind us, have had winds gusting up to 50 knots. So we're hunkering down for the night. We're probably going to watch a movie, and hopefully it'll all go in the morning.
Okay, it is end of day 6. We're going into our night 6 since leaving New Zealand. We currently have 24 knots of wind. We have swells that are close to 4 meters. We've had a rough day. The rough night is going to continue, but we're making good timing. Our speeds are still up, and we've got just over 200 nautical miles to go. We are going to spend another night at sea tomorrow night, which we were hoping to avoid, but that's to make sure we get into Navula Passage in daylight, and also we slow down to accommodate the conditions.
It's midnight, night 6, coming into day 7, and we're passing through a passage in the reefs. We have a sliver of sail up. We're doing anything between about 6 and 7 knots, and it feels like we're actually sailing down a chute of a water slide. Just as well we're doing this at night, because I'd be scared looking out just to see what's going on during the day.
Okay, day 7, Sunday. These are the seas. Calmed down. Still got 3 meter swells. at least 3 meters swell that you can see. We had up to 5 to 6 meters in the last 2 days, 3 days. So this is really now compared to what we had. Okay, it is now Monday, the 8th of May. Things are a bit haphazard on Paw Paw. Yesterday morning we took on a wave about 6 to 8 meters on the beam, and it wrecked our steering. So we spent all day yesterday trying to fix it. Our emergency steering didn't work either. Eventually, after 2 attempts yesterday, we had to give up because it was dark. And we spent the night bobbing around. We've had to Ruby for company, which has been invaluable. Emergency services were contacted, and we were waiting an arrival of a rescue vessel this morning at daybreak, but that never happened. We got an update again for noon. In the meantime, we've fixed the steering for the 3rd time, and we're hoping the 3rd time is a charm. Right now we're heading towards Fiji the best we can. Tornado ready. This is this Paw Paw over.
Oh,